What's up, everybody? Angry K9 here, back again with another Minecraft video. Today is Thursday, September 5th, 2013, and Mojang has finally released the Snapshot 13w36a, and we're going to take a look at that today. Now, I just looked up the release notes on the website, and they don't really go into specifics about the release notes, so I'm not really sure what to expect in this snapshot, but I have installed my resource pack. And I took a look at this screen here, and there are a couple of things that are different. First of all, you notice this button here that says Super Secret Settings. Now, I have not looked at this yet, so I don't know what is behind that. But you can see everything here is changed quite a bit. First, we have a button for music and sound, video, language, resource packs, snooper settings, multiplayer setting, controls, many of which are the same. Difficulty, which we always put on hard. And then the Super Secret Settings button. So first of all, the first thing I notice is when I change the resource pack, we see the resource pack screen has changed. And it looks like we have this one available, and this is what we are using right now. So we're going to use this, and it looks like we just click on that arrow, and it'll move it right over there. And at this point, we can move that one away if we wish. And of course, we cannot move the default away. So we're going to go ahead and use that one. And that should, I think, change to my resource pack, and it sure did. Okay, so we're going to take a look at the music and sound settings. As you can see, there are now several sliders here to change your sounds. You have the master volume slider here where you can turn your volume up and down. You also have a music volume, so you can change the volume, which was also one that was there before, but now a weather slider. And it looks like you can now change the sound of the rain, so that you don't have to keep turning your game volume up and down. Enemy monster slider, so you can alter the volume of monsters such as zombies and creepers, etc. Other players, you can change their volume. I'm guessing maybe the sound of their weapons or their feet on the grass. Jukebox and note blocks, you can also change the volume there. Blocks and environment, I'm going to assume this is things like when you break blocks or you walk on gravel or something like that. And of course, friendly animals, cows, sheep, pigs, and chickens, which is a great addition right there. So we're going to leave everything at 100%, and we are going to go back. We're going to take a look at the video settings, see if anything's changed here. And from what I can tell, it really hasn't. Everything looks pretty much the same as it did before. But we are going to change the brightness just a little bit because I always set my brightness to plus 10%. So language, of course, is the same as it always has been. And our language is, of course, English. And resource packs we've already seen. Controls are the same controls. And I'm going to go ahead and change this to what I normally set mine to. And it looks like we do have a slight rearranging here of the buttons. Touchscreen mode off, invert mouse off, and let's see here. I always change my settings to this here. And one thing that is different now is we have a sprint key. No longer do you hit the forward key 2 times to sprint. You can actually set it to a button now. And that is something new, and that is something I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to need to set mine to be comfortable with. As it stands right now, not really sure what to do. So I am going to try to set mine to my delete key. Don't know if I'm going to be able to do that or not. And of course we have hotbar settings here. You can actually change your hotbar settings now. It used to be if you would hit key 1, key 2, etc., you would scroll through your hotbar depending on which key you hit. Now you can actually assign those key settings. And of course you have your miscellaneous settings down here. F2 for screenshot. Your cinematic camera, I believe, was formerly F8. And perspective, of course, is the F5 key, which it always has been. Jump, I always change mine to my shift key, I believe, and my sneak key I change. And of course you have your left key and your right key and your back key, and your up key. I always use the arrow keys. Don't know why. Always have. And of course you have list players as your tab key, which is the same. Your open chat key and your open command key. So now you can assign most of all of the common commands in the game to whatever key that you want to use. Chances are you probably can't use the enter key though. And of course, if you change them all and you don't like them, you can always reset back to default. But we're going to leave it like this for right now. I just got to remember my delete key is my sprint key. That's going to be something very difficult to get used to, I think, for a lot of people. But it's also a cool feature. So, take a look at the multiplayer settings. Everything looks pretty much the same here. Doesn't look like anything has really changed here. So we'll look at the snooper settings. Of course, that is also the same. And we're going to go ahead and allow the snooper because this is a snapshot and they can use all the information they can get. Now we're going to take a look at the super secret settings. And it doesn't look like anything is going to happen. So they must be very super secret settings. Probably something coming in the future. Just doesn't seem to be anything set there right now. So that pretty much covers that. So now we're going to go ahead and go into the single player screen here, and we are going to create a new world. We're going to call it 13w36a. And we're going to go ahead and set this to creative, simply because we are checking this out, and we're going to create the new world. And with any luck, this is actually going to work and not crash, and it looks like it is. And we are falling through the void. Press E to open your inventory. I need to change my key to I, and I am getting a significant amount of lag right now, probably because of chunk loading, and I'm also recording. Hopefully that's all it is. Let's head on out into the world here, and hopefully we can do this. A lot of lag. So we'll fly up here, and it's smoothing out a little bit. Most of it's just because of chunk loading, I'm going to assume. And I don't know if it's just me, but these jungle trees look slightly different. Let's head on out over the world. I'm going to go ahead and do that just to get that out of the way. Looks like we have a few changes here. Decoration blocks, red stone. So that's a little bit different. And materials. All that is pretty much the same. So yeah, doesn't, except for that there. Looks like we have lilac and sunflower, some double tall grass, large ferns, rose bush, and that. I'm not sure how to pronounce that word. I am not a horticulturalist, so I really don't know. And it looks like the stone brick monster egg and cobblestone monster egg and stone monster egg are now available in the creative menu. I don't recall mossy stone monster egg. I don't really recall if they were before. They may have been. We do have some Podzol. It's a new block. I'm not sure what that is. Sponge is now available in the creative world. They're in the creative menu, I should say. And I don't see, anything new. In stone, that's always been available though. Mossy cobblestone wall. I think that was available as well before. So packed ice. That's interesting. I'm not sure what that is. And regular ice. I don't know what the difference between the two is, but that's something interesting. Of course, we have red tulip in an azure bluet, allium, blue orchid, and of course the poppy, formerly the rose, and the dandelion, orange tulip, and a white tulip, and a pink tulip, oxeye daisy. Yeah, interesting, very interesting. Lots of new plants, flowers, and things like that, so that's really neat. And all the redstone is pretty much the same, nothing new there. Same with the minecart transportation and all that other stuff. And let's take a look and see if there's anything new here. Looks like all is pretty much the same here. Nothing new. We've got our horse armor there. And all of our spawn eggs here. And as far as I know, there have been no new I'm going to have to turn my sound down for some reason. It's not coming out of the right place, so I'm going to turn it down so that it's not doubling up. Anyway, as far as I know, there are no new mobs in this snapshot, so everything should be the same there. And we have raw fish and raw salmon and clownfish and puffer fish, cooked salmon, cooked fish, and everything else looks pretty much the same. So some new fish added, new types of food, and we have all of our weapons or all of our tools here, and all of that is pretty much the same as before. Nothing new there. Same with the weapons and armor. Nothing new has been added there, and of course all of our potions. Now there might be some new potions. Not really sure. I don't think there are. Anything is possible. When we look at the regular materials, it looks like everything else there is pretty much the same. Nothing new has been added there. So yeah, you can see we have quite a few new things coming as far as blocks and materials go. And I'm going to have to remap my keyboard. And none of those chunks have loaded at all. So let me take a look at the option screen here. Let's see. Render distance is set to far. So I think we are pretty much set to what we always are set to. One other thing I want to do is find the inventory key and change that to I. I always do that. Personal preference. Okay, so let's head on out into the world here now that we're done looking at everything and see what we can find. Now, I don't know if they've implemented the new biomes in this snapshot or not. We're going to head down here and take a look. You can see we've got some new flowers already in the world. Leaving the jungle and heading into a plains biome. And all of that lag we're getting here is strictly because of the loading, so that actually makes me feel a lot better. I was very worried there at the beginning. And it looks like the rose bushes here are probably going to be in the forest biomes. So you'll be able to pick those up, drop them everywhere. So I am going to fly around here and see if we can find any of the new biomes, if we have any. I don't know if any of them made it into this snapshot, but it's possible. This area over here looked a little different, but I guess it was just my imagination. One thing we do notice here, though, is in this jungle biome and this plains biome here, is the higher elevations seem to have snow on the mountains, and it looks like we have a hill of stone here, so that is something different. So it looks like they have implemented some of the newer biomes. So this hill is pretty much all stone with snow on top, so that is a little bit better representation of a mountain. Looks like we still have some floating blocks here and there. So yeah, that's looking pretty cool, and not really sure if this is any particular type of biome here, so let's take a look. And you saw the particles there as I landed on the ground. That was something new in the snapshot. When you fall from a high place and you land on the ground, you're going to have some particles based on the block that you land on. So take a look at the dirt, and it didn't seem to do it there. Maybe I didn't fall from a high enough distance. And I really hope that lag does smooth out. I know it's probably just from chunk loading, and I am recording, so I'm going to guess that has a lot to do with it. So we'll drop down here, and there you go. Kind of worked. So what I am going to do is I am going to sail around in the air here, and I'm going to take a look around, and if I find any new biomes, I will come back and show them off. We now have some spruce trees in the extreme hills biomes, and they also appear to be somewhat differently shaped there. A little bit more like spruce trees, pine trees. So that's really neat. That's going to be a cool feature. No longer do you have to hunt down a taiga or snow biome to find spruce trees. And of course we found another mountainous area here. We're going to go ahead and hit F3 and just kind of check out the biome there. And this is really cool looking. Got a nice little cave here with a creeper And one thing I'm kind of curious about is the fact that it is snowing, or I'm sorry, raining right now. Of course, it's snowing over there. As you get higher up, the rain appears to change to snow. Get a little bit closer to the ground. You can hear the music, but I can't hear the rain. I'm going to turn the music down. Still not hearing the rain, though. I'm not sure if that's because I'm flying, which it probably is. Then again, maybe not. A lot of times when you get down on the ground, you can hear it. Maybe I'm very high up. We are somewhat high. We're at level 80. So I'm not really sure if that is a bug or if that is intentional. You hear my feet on the sand. Don't really hear it on the grass, though, because it's such a quiet sound. Hey, jump in the water. Go over here and say hi to the sheep. And there is our first ravine. So that looks really cool. Plenty of mobs running around here, zombies and creepers and things. But that is not much different than usual, although that does look really nice. Very defined ravine. Very nice walls. So we're going to move on over here into the hills biome here. And I still have yet to really see anything new other than this extreme hills type here. A lot more stone. And a lot less dirt and grass on the hill, so that gives it a little bit somewhat more realistic appearance. But very nice transitions between the biomes, and there is the rain. That's very odd. And I'm going to guess it has something to do with the elevation that I was at. Well, then again, I'm much higher now than I was before. So maybe it has something to do with the biome that you're in. Maybe certain biomes you won't hear the rain. In the jungle edge. You get into the extreme hills, though, and it seems to quiet down. So maybe that's intentional. In extreme hills biomes, you can no longer hear the rain. So we're going to go ahead and turn that rain down. In fact, we're going to go ahead and clear the weather. Just get rid of it altogether. And continue sailing through the air. And it looks like we have a watermelon just kind of randomly growing here in the jungle. So that's really cool. It used to be you could only find watermelon seeds in chests in abandoned mine shafts. Now it looks like you can find them in the jungles. And if you look at the way the jungle is structured here, you have this nice little shelf of land, for lack of a better thing to call it. So the terrain generation is definitely much different. And I don't know if floating trees are going to be the norm. But it seems like there is a lot of jungle territory around here. As far as I know, this is definitely different terrain here that I have not been to yet. And it seems to be just an endless jungle that I just can't get out of. And then back into the forest. And there are a lot more watermelons hanging out here. So it looks like they're probably going to be as frequent as pumpkins, just kind of hanging out. There's some new flowers there. So yeah, really cool. We're going to head over here into, maybe this is a plains biome. See if there are any horses around, which I'm sure there are. Some pigs over there. Sheep. And I love some of these hills and these caves. This here looks really cool. That's really awesome. Another ravine. Very defined walls. And this cow enjoys living dangerously. And look at that. Isn't that awesome? Some great terrain generation here. Waterfall, lava fall. That looks really cool. Up as high as the clouds. even over the clouds. So it looks like we've got different types of trees kind of mixed in together here, which is really neat. And there's more of that endless jungle. It seems like the chunk generation, though, is just a little bit slower, but that's probably just because I'm flying. I'm sure that it's probably not that slow when you're at ground level. So lots of new territory to look forward to. I think that looks really cool. And I know there was a new biome. I believe it was kind of a clay biome. I think the ground was made mostly of stained clay blocks. I would certainly like to find one of those. So I am going to continue flying in this direction and looking around. And if I find one, we'll come back and take a look at it. Okay, guys, and it looks like we have found another biome. I noticed these giant mushrooms hanging out here, and it looks like we are in a, well, plains biome here and a roofed forest. So that looks really interesting. Got some very large trees here and large mushrooms. And that is really cool looking. And is that slight difference in the dirt there and the grass texture or color here? So that looks really cool. And that might be just because of the shadowing, though. Yeah, there's some really awesome terrain. And no longer do you have to find mushroom islands for giant mushrooms. There is a lot of wood here, a lot of spruce wood to be exact, so wow. And I am a person that loves to build with spruce wood, so this is really cool for me because it looks like spruce wood is going to be very abundant, and this looks really cool under here. I really like this. That's why they call it a roofed forest, because of these wide flat trees. And the giant mushrooms. And I am so excited about this snapshot. Really looking forward to 1.7. All kinds of interesting things coming, and there's a skeleton hiding there somewhere. Going to kind of move on here and take a look at what else we got. And it looks like we found a swamp. Very small swampy biome. But swampland nonetheless. And it looks like that the grass is just a slightly different color here as well. Different greens. Ever so slight. And I just love those particles when you hit the ground. That is so cool. Bah. And it really seems like the jungles and the extreme hills are very, very, very abundant. It seems like they are extremely frequent, and this is the first swamp I've seen, and in all this time I've been flying around, I have yet to see a single desert. I've not seen a desert at all, and I still haven't seen the clay biome. You can see we've got the flowers growing wild here. It looks like the blue orchids are going to grow in the swamp. And some really interesting terrain generation here. Bah. Alright, we're coming into another new biome here. And it looks like we are coming into a biome called the savanna. So we got some really strange looking trees here. Jungle type trees. Jungle wood. And it looks sort of like a mix between a swamp and a plains biome, a little bit, kind of more of a desert, I guess. And this is the first desert that I have seen since I've been sailing around here. And I was getting worried. I was beginning to wonder if deserts were gone. But I am glad to see that they are still there. So yeah, I've got a couple of interesting biomes here. Savanna and the desert. Ha 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 ha. Just imagine the first block update on that. We've still got plenty of sandstone under there. Just got to do it. See what happens. There we go. Nice big collapse right there. Just couldn't resist the temptation. And we have discovered something else new. Another new biome, and looking at some really awesome looking trees here. Very, very tall spruce wood trees. And there's that unusual stuff there. The Podzol. And some random mossy cobblestone blocks just kind of out in the open here. And this biome is called the Mega Taiga. Mega Taiga. So it looks like you're going to be able to get some mossy cobblestone here in this Mega Taiga biome, as well as a lot of spruce wood. Very large trees. Kind of a spruce jungle biome, I guess you could say. And just your standard dirt and Podzol. I'm not really sure what Podzol is. A type of unusual grass or dirt, I guess, but there is a lot of it in the Mega Taiga. Taiga, however you want to pronounce it. And I just love the look of those trees there. Those really cool looking trees. And, yeah, looking really cool. So that is the Mega Taiga, and that looks really neat from a distance there, with those trees against the background, the skyline, if I could keep the chunks from... Here is something different. It's a forest, but it is all birch trees. So it looks like we have ourselves a birch forest biome as well. Just like a regular forest biome, but nothing but birch trees. No oak trees or anything. Just birch trees as far as the eye can see. So it looks like each type of wood is more abundant now. And we're back into one of those roofed forest biomes. And into a plains biome. So if you need birch wood, just find yourself a nice birch forest. And you will have all the birch wood you could ever want. Alright, and we have found a forest with a lot of flowers everywhere. All kinds of flowers, just flowers everywhere you look. And it looks like it's going to be called a flower forest. So just like a regular forest, just with a lot of flowers all over the place. Every kind of flower in the game that you could possibly want, except maybe a sunflower. I haven't seen any of those yet. But they are probably in here. I'm going to guess, since this is a flower forest, probably would be here. Lots of dandelions, right? Oxeye daisy. Yeah, so flower forest. Another new biome added to the game. Well, I've found my first testificate village. Nothing really remarkable about that. Pretty much the same as any other one. There are a lot of horses here, though. Quite a few animals, actually. A lot of sheep and pigs. And, of course, the villagers. And, of course, you have your typical trades. 10 blocks of gravel and an emerald for 4 flint. Yeah, that's what I think. And there is a blacksmith shop here somewhere. Take a look in there and see if there is anything interesting in the chest. See if we've added anything new. And just some iron, sword, and a helmet. Pretty much the same thing. And here is the Taiga biome. All the spruce trees as always, but no snow. But here is an interesting feature that I ran across. See this hill here? And then this just right under here now. Isn't this just awesome looking? Despite the fact that there are a bunch of zombies down here, doesn't this just look really cool? I really like the terrain generation so far. I'm seeing a lot of awesome features here. A lot of potential for some really cool building under there. So, yeah, I encourage you guys to go ahead and get a hold of the Snapshot and check it out. You can get it right through the launcher. Just create a new profile, and you want to make sure that you have use experimental versions checked so that you can get a hold of the Snapshot. and go ahead and jump into it and check it out for yourself. See if you can find the clay biome. I don't know if it's been implemented in this snapshot yet. It may not have been. This is, of course, a snapshot, so a lot of things are not finalized, and a lot of things here will probably change before the actual release of version 1.7. But so far, it's really looking cool. I'm really liking what I see. But we will still have oceans. They're just not going to be as big from what I understand. And they won't be seemingly endless. But that does make me happy because I do like building underwater and building in the ocean away from land. So as we wave bye-bye to the coastline, again, I encourage you to go ahead and get the snapshot and check it out. Take a look around, see what kind of interesting things you can find. And hopefully it won't be long before 1.7 comes out. And hopefully they also still have a lot more interesting things coming. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you liked the video. Please feel free to comment, rate, and subscribe to my channel if you're not a subscriber. As always, my name is Angry K9, and I will see you next time.